accomplish, explore, and indulge on your next runcation. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 150 of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. I'm your host, Amy.
And I'm your co-host, Dana.
Welcome to the show.
We can't thank you guys enough for joining us. If you're jumping in on tonight's live stream, we are live broadcasting this episode or live recording this episode as we stream to Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope, aka Twitter.
I always forget about Periscope.
It's there.
But it's there. It's there. I think I've damaged the camera because I'm like blurry.
I don't think you've damaged the camera.
We are
currently I'm positive we're currently chewing away on video in the background.
All right, then.
We have things going on.
And then, you also have our dogs chiming in the background.
The dogs are chiming in the background as well. Danny likes to be, vocal and let us know what she's thinking about. So
that's true.
Welcome. We're glad that you guys could join us, everybody.
Yes. Anybody that's in the chat who has joined in, drop in a comment, say hello.
Yeah, regardless of which platform you might be watching on, if you're watching at all.
It does not matter.
And we have kind of I don't want to say a reminiscent show, but we are doing a show tonight that is letting us do not only a look forward to an upcoming race, but we're also going to be looking back a little bit at one of our favorite races to do. And if you caught the title of this episode in the live stream or in your podcatcher as you're looking at what you've downloaded, we're going to be talking about the Donna half marathon or Donna Marathon Weekend,
which also includes a half marathon, which we've normally run. So that's where you're thinking about that.
Yeah, we don't normally run the marathon. That's a little much for us.
Well, yeah. we tried twice. Not the Donna itself.
No.
But we've tried.
We have tried to run the marathon distance, not once,
not twice,
but 3 times, and we have been thwarted by the universe.
Somehow, some way, I feel like eventually you're going to give in and you're going to run one with me. I don't know if that's true.
I've got a pretty good idea.
Why? What, you think the answer is no?
Well, when you nail down another celebrity chef to run the marathon with,
really?
like Art Smith.
Are you kidding?
I am not.
Okay.
I see there are a couple of bucket lists in this relationship. She's got one, I've got one.
What is your bucket list item that I don't know about? Right.
Well, the more important one for the purposes of this conversation is, what's the one bucket list item we don't share?
The marathon.
The marathon.
I know, but you said you would do it.
I did. I said I would run this year's Disney marathon with you and Art Smith.
We're having a whole debate now. Yes, but it was only because Art Smith said he would.
Yes.
But you wouldn't run it at the Donna. Come on now, think about it.
Maybe. I don't know.
I
can get a whole lot of personal fulfillment out of running the half at the Donna. I'm just saying.
I know, but wouldn't you want to run that distance at that special weekend that we will do every year, no matter what? No.
We trained, the year that we trained
fine.
for the Disney marathon, the first year we trained for the Disney marathon, we got up to 25 miles in our training runs.
Here we go.
And I can honestly tell you,
here we go,
that I have never in my off days during a training cycle been more sore.
I know.
Than I
don't think we did it right. Were we e-coaching with Jeff at that time? Or
yes. No? Absolutely.
We were?
Yes.
Okay.
It wasn't that we weren't doing it right. It's that we were running 25 miles.
And that was before we went plant-based and before we lost the weight.
Yes.
It was a lot more to carry. So
you can sell it however you want. I cannot wait to be your cheer squad.
Okay, whatever.
At Chicago.
All right, you're just not gonna.
We'll see.
You're not gonna do it. I got it.
It might happen.
Okay, whatever.
I wouldn't hold my breath. Let's put it that way.
But
no, on this week's show, we're going to be talking about the Donna Marathon Weekend.
I'll be over here with my beer. here
It has gone
being
virtual.
upset.
And this is a race that is near and dear to our heart because it
Yes.
I'm looking at some of the comments that are dropping in now.
Jessica's in the chat.
Feel the burn, feel the victory. I I I don't know
See,
if that's what victory feels like. You can have it.
well, she's coming off a great weekend, a personal best or a PR in the 5K at
Mhm.
the Tour de Cape. And she's coming off of a 30-mile bike ride also at the Tour de Cape back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was sporting Runny Drink Podcast swag that supports the Donna Foundation.
Yes. That is phenomenal. It was stylish, and I'm willing to bet might have had something to do with your amazing performance in
Here
that
we
bike
go.
ride.
Here we go. He's
I
gonna say,
as I
go
am.
ahead.
I'm just saying,
Really?
the Runny Drink podcast scientists have told us that
Uh-huh.
in their research, they have figured that, Runny Drink podcast shirts make you run and cycle at least
We have so many
12 to
scientists. We have
17% faster
we
than
have so
normal
many scientists on our staff, on our humongous staff.
in the podcast hours.
Yeah, right here, right here.
But what
Debo, welcome to the chat. Jessica is being so supportive, let me tell you.
she is.
She's like, you totally got this, Dana. You could do it. She's trying to convince you virtually
Uh-huh.
to run the marathon.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
You're
saying.
ganging up on
Yeah,
me.
I'm trying. Listen, I use what I have.
I
I
appreciate
use
that
what I
about you.
can.
So this race is very near and dear to our hearts because the Donna Marathon Weekend is a race that supports families that are battling breast cancer, and
Yes. They
it
have a loved one, they have a family member going through it. It affects the entire family.
yeah. So and this year the Donna, the Donna made a very early decision to make the 2021 race go virtual because of the very unique set of circumstances surrounding that race.
Yes.
It is not uncommon when you go to run the Donna up in Jacksonville. You're on the course and you're running that race with breast cancer survivors. You're running that race with people running in memoriam of people they may have lost to breast cancer.
Yep.
You're also running that race with people who are currently undergoing treatment very often. So, they made a early decision to take this virtual because they didn't want to take any chances with people who might be immunocompromised, and we totally understand that. And it was a hard decision, but in doing so, the race organizers have pivoted the race to something different, unique, and giving participants the opportunity to do something really cool. And you can actually do um, these distances that they're offering over a period of many, many days.
28.
Yeah,
I mean, you can do it as long as you register by Valentine's Day, because that is when registration ends. You have, if you're not submitting results for time, you have until the end of March to complete your distance.
right.
So, yes, yes, and yes.
I think that's just a phenomenal option.
I'm just saying.
And the distances. So
See, we could
here's
do
now this might be the way to do a marathon. Okay, the distances are starting as low as 0 miles. And yes, you heard me.
0
0
mile.
miles.
Yes. Yes.
For
Yeah.
for those of you who are out there that like watching and listening to us because of the food and drink offerings, and we've got several who've contacted us are like, I don't know about the running part, but I love the food and drink you guys talk about.
That is true.
We have the race
mean-
event for you. You can do tremendous good by supporting the Donna Foundation.
Yes.
You get a cool car magnet that you can put on the back of your car. Those
0.
that show off the race distances you've done.
You can show off 0 miles.
0.0.
0.00 miles.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you get to be part of our team and we're going to talk about that
That's true.
in a little bit. And
Yeah.
you join in, regardless of the distance that you might want to run.
Yeah.
You can also go with a 5K,
Yes.
a half marathon,
True.
the full marathon.
Yes.
And for those of you that look at the full marathon and just go
Chump change.
amateur hour,
Chump change. Oh,
you
Josh, look, what does he say? What is what is this
the
comment?
Mr. Blutarski 0.0
Can you explain it to me?
after the show.
Okay. Oh, we're keeping it family friendly. Is that what you're saying?
Eh,
Okay.
more or
Fine.
less.
You explain it to me after.
And then
I feel dumb now.
for those of you that haven't or are just not impressed by the marathon distance, you can do
Uh-huh.
an ultra
Uh-huh.
virtually.
Uh-huh.
Better yet, you can do the ultra virtually over that period of 28 days.
Well, yeah, you could spread it
You
out.
can spread the whole thing out.
Yeah. There are some people like fun size Jen who sometimes pops in on our live chats and
Mhm.
our coffee chats and Instagram, and she did she did a marathon over the span of 13 hours, I think 2 miles an hour.
Mhm.
That might be the way to go for you,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
if you're wanting to do that, if you're wanting to get that distance in,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So the point is the Donna Marathon Weekend 2021 has a distance for everybody, has just a way to support that fantastic organization that is the Donna Foundation
Mhm.
in many, many ways. Join our team. You know, we also have, if you don't want to join the team even for 0.0 miles, you and get that cool car magnet, you can also visit our store hosted by Pure Creative Apparel. And we have fabulous shirts like these. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
got it,
This
got it,
particular one
got
has
it.
my mom's name on the sleeve.
Yeah, this I'm sporting the black one, but if you looked at our social media on over the weekend and on Monday prior to this show dropping, then you saw Jessica in some Run Eat Drink podcast swag that's sporting the breast cancer ribbon and what we would normally make from those purchases that you normally do to support our show, that will go to the Donna Foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that is going to this amazing organization that's helping these families. We are in the full episode,
Mhm.
we are going to be airing an interview
It's an
with
amazing interview.
Amanda Napolitano. And
Mhm.
Amanda is the
Executive
executive.
director.
Yeah, she's the
Mhm.
executive director of the Donna Foundation. And she gives us some time to talk about the foundation,
Yeah.
everything that's going to be offered in the race, all of the just the way that they've made this virtual event special.
Yes.
And it was just so nice to sit and talk with her. We normally get to see her every year when we go up, and
And she's so positive and just so she was so generous with her time with us. And she just, I mean, hmm,
yeah.
she does it right. She and her team are incredible.
Oh yeah, I mean they kill it with, everything that they do. And the fact that we go up there every year, they remember us.
Yeah.
And we sit and have coffee in the morning on the Friday during the social shakeout run. And
Mhm.
we see them on Saturday at the main 5K, and then Sunday again, and they're just always so friendly.
Yes.
And it's just
Mhm.
it's a blast. I mean, it really is. And they're just such nice people.
Yeah. Did you see Jessica in the chat saying that how the shirt was so comfy?
Oh,
Did you see that?
I see that. Look at
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And there it is.
So comfy.
And yeah, again, makes you run faster, bike faster,
According
according to the Running
to
Drink Podcast scientists anyway.
yeah.
So check it out.
Mhm.
But we're going to have that full interview in the feed coming up, or in the podcast coming up in the full episode that's going to be dropped into the podcast feed. That's actually
Mhm.
what's chewing away right now in the background and has our camera a little bit blurry. But we are super excited for you guys to hear that interview. So download the episode.
Yeah.
It'll be in the feed tomorrow and check that out.
Yes. Because Amanda, she talks about the genesis of the foundation, the event itself, and everybody that came together to get that off the ground and make it so successful. And next year will be their 15th year.
That's amazing.
So I'm just saying, yeah, I know that some of you all are jumping in and joining us live, and we love it. We just hope that you will take also time through your favorite podcast provider and listen to that interview as well. So, yeah.
Josh, does it lift and separate? Asking for a friend.
What?
The shirt,
The
does it lift
shirt?
and separate?
No. What? No.
While this is a shirt that is
What?
funding breast cancer research, it doesn't have any of those features built in.
Oh, it
Although
doesn't have a built-in like
maybe we should,
fob.
explore perhaps a sports bra or something for the
Oh,
ladies.
it does not have a built-in sports bra that supports and all of it. It's just, but it is a fabulous performance t-shirt material. So everyone needs one. Jessica is like the walking billboard from the weekend.
We love it.
And
Thank you,
she
Jessica.
is providing the testimonial in the chat as we speak. So
But we're going to have a little bit more about that and how you can join in on the fun in a little bit. But I think that now that we've kind of caught everybody up on the big upcoming thing to look forward to, and that race is going to be the race registration is going to be closing on February 14th.
yeah, if you want to submit official results for the 5K, for the half, for the full, for the ultra, you have from February 6th until February 14th to submit your time through the Active Experience app on your phone.
Very nice.
Yes. And the Active Experience app you should check out as well. And Amanda talks about it in her chat with us, because you can actually go in there and you can upload a photo and you can tell a story about who you're running for. So,
Yeah, and they're going to be doing something special with that. We're not gonna spoil that, but that's actually really
and she talks
worth.
about it in the interview. So it's worth downloading our episode and listening to that chat, because it's going to be amazing.
It really is.
Yeah.
So now, one thing that we wanted to do was, in addition to talk about what's coming up um, with the Donna virtual, we wanted to talk a little bit about food that we have enjoyed there while we are in the Jacksonville and Jacksonville Beaches area.
Yes.
And Jennifer is commenting
Oh, this is my
on
former
some of the
student.
questions regarding the functionality of the shirt, and
They
uh,
don't lift and separate. No, they don't. Sports bras, they just support.
good to know.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Guys, we're gonna be behind the eight ball here. Just trust the ladies on this one.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's all we're saying.
Just saying. Let's see. We want to show off, however. There's some fantastic food that we have been fortunate enough to get to enjoy while we are up at the Donna.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those that we in races that we enjoy, and just the deliciousness that is available in the Jacksonville Beaches area when it comes to the food scene
It's vast.
is surprising too. And I don't know why I'm so surprised by it, but we just had no idea
Mm,
that it was going to be this
good.
yeah, this plentiful in that town.
When we first came to do the race 3 years ago.
Right.
So this week, instead of, and we're still going to be bringing you healthy options and healthy recipes, but this is all about honoring the Donna, and this is our pitch and our persuasion to get everybody ready for, as Jessica says in the chat, 2022, when we're
Yes.
hoping that live races return and to get your engine going and introduce you to the quality of food and beverage that you can expect in the Jacksonville area. Yes.
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 So let's see.
Yeah.
We are going to see if we can show you
We're going to do it.
some photos
I
here.
feel that it's going to be successful.
I think so.
Yeah.
So this here, Amy's going to have to help narrate some of these
Well,
because
yeah.
she's got this amazing food here.
Mm.
I believe that this is from one of the food items from Southern Swells
This is Southern
or Southern
Grounds.
Grounds. Excuse
Southern
me.
Grounds. Yeah, you're getting
I'm
ahead
getting
to the
ahead to the beer.
beverage
Dang it.
portion, and
Okay.
that's okay because we know you've got the beer in front of you, so it's fine. This is Southern Grounds. So Amanda, in her interview, she talks about the social shakeout run, which starts the weekend off. It's not an official run. There's no medal. It is the one of the greatest things. It starts at a place called Southern Grounds, which is a coffee shop.
Yes.
There's a bakery, there's food, there are lunch items, there are breakfast items. What you see before you right here right now is their pancakes. And their pancakes are just fluffy, buttery goodness with traditional maple syrup. And I mean, you're yeah. It,
It and they're cooked to order.
And they're cooked to order, yeah. So, I mean, you go and you do this social shakeout run, which is through part of the course of the Donna, but it's just 3.1 miles. So it's like a little 5K to kind of get your butterflies out if you are doing your first marathon, like you might.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, yeah, and you get to be up close and personal with some great people and then have great food. And it's just the Southern Grounds Cafe has great coffee and great breakfast items that you can just, I mean, you sit, you sip on the coffee, you wait for these to arrive, and they are worth the wait.
They really are.
Yes.
These are absolutely some of the fluffiest, most delicious pancakes ever. But I still tend to go for
Savory. I
savory
know that,
in
which is
breakfast.
why I included this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when you start talking about it's so, oh, I don't want to call it hipsterish, but
Yeah. No.
avocado toast. I
Well, it's
mean,
like new. It didn't happen when it was not a part of our generation.
it wasn't, but
You know what I
this is
mean?
one of the best things that
So,
that comes from it because now I can get this amazing sourdough toast with this killer um, sprinkle of feta cheese
oh yeah,
and fresh heirloom grape tomatoes
they're
and
so good.
microgreens and a perfectly poached egg on top.
And this particular version, see, Jenny Ann, she's like, she comes in with the pancakes, right? And then we just go on to the avocado toast and it's getting better. So you want the pancakes, but you also want the avocado toast because they have regular avocado toast, but this is like the guacamole version. So you could see the red onions in there and you know
Yes.
there's cilantro and you know that there's lime. Oh, and like you said, the perfectly poached egg, when you break into that, it's just the perfectly runny egg that mixes with the different textures, like the fresh snap of the tomato.
Mhm.
Oh, oh, oh.
Yep, the tomatoes are nice and juicy. The egg is perfectly cooked. You get the runniness of the egg, but they actually kind of par cook that interior a little bit, where it's
Mm.
more of a gel than it is a super runny.
But you still get the runny part.
You do,
You still
you
get
do.
some of the runny part. It's not totally, it's like that fabulous in between.
But
I love it.
there's
Num,
also
num, num, num.
a
No.
place that we discovered.
Oh, yes.
We actually discovered this spot
Mhm.
and what's pictured here when we were fortunate enough to be at the Runners Village after the race.
Yeah, well, they had a tent at the 5K, at the official 5K, and we came out and it was just that year, it was so breezy and just windy.
And freezing, and
And
yeah, it was blustery weather for sure.
yeah, yeah.
And this
So
is a spot called
this is Poe's Tavern.
Post
This,
Tavern.
which is, you finish the Donna, you finish the ultra, the marathon, the half, the 5K. We didn't even talk about the booby trap challenge that we are actually registered for, but
We'll talk about that a
we'll
little
get
bit
to that.
more and
At any rate,
before we get to the drinks.
when you finish, you go into this runner's village and it's one big party by the beach,
Yes.
celebrating your accomplishments. This is the place where you can get a beverage in the runner's village. You hear music, you see other runners, you see the award ceremony, and there is a little tent. And in that tent that we discovered, it said Poe's Tavern, and they were doing sliders at the time.
Yes.
And they're like, but they were so smart because they had their menu right there. So we were like, oh, all of these burgers are themed after Edgar Allan Poe's stories and poems. So, the Raven, the Telltale Heart. This is the Sleeper.
The
Um,
Sleeper.
mhm, mhm. The Black Cat,
I believe that's this one,
which is like the
the one that
blue.
I ordered.
Yes.
Yeah, this
Mhm.
one, the burger, which is enormous and perfectly cooked,
Mm.
is this one is topped with buffalo shrimp and blue cheese, and the sleeper that Amy had,
Oh,
that is I believe their drunken chili, bacon, and cooked onions, as well as, I want to say, is that pimento cheese?
oh no, I had it
Oh,
backwards. My apologies on the titles.
oh, okay. So
The
yours is the
sleeper
black
is
cat.
yours. The sleeper was yours. I'm sorry. The sleeper has roasted garlic blue cheese. That's yours. And buffalo shrimp
Yeah,
on the burger.
that thing is
That.
it's insanely good.
And then the black cat was mine that you're looking at here, which has the grilled onions, Edgar's drunken chili, applewood smoked bacon, and pimento cheese.
Yeah, the drunken chili there is fantastic, and their tie-in to last week's episode, of course, we talked about making a vegetarian chili
Uh-huh.
and giving an option in the preparation to, if you didn't want it to be vegetarian, how you could swap out the cracked wheat for ground beef.
Sure. Like this
And
has.
also, if you wanted to swap out some of the water for beer,
Mm,
and that is what they do, and
yeah.
they do it to the point where you actually get that just amazing
Beer.
bready flavor of the
Beer.
beer without it tasting boozy. It is just
It is
ridiculously good.
delicious. Okay. That's all I'm saying to you. Okay.
The next spot that we
This goes back to our very first uh Donna weekend,
yes.
our very first. And this is from the Black Sheep. This is from the Black Sheep up there in Jacksonville. I'm gonna you it's guitar shaped pasta, and I always butcher the name.
Oh, it's pasta alla guitarra, and
The a la guitarra.
yeah, and it's more not so much the shape of the pasta, but um, they liken it to guitar strings. That was something to do with that. So
Yeah. Like it's shaped like that or made like that because they made it.
they actually, the pasta that we're showing and the feed, that if you go back to our early episode where we actually cover the black sheep, we do this as
Video.
a video,
This was episode 20.
and
Yeah.
the chef is hand making these pastas,
Mhm.
and it is the most perfectly cooked plate of pasta in North Florida I think you're going to find. And
Yeah.
this particular dish really leans pretty heavily into the sweetness of butternut squash, or acorn squash, excuse me.
I mean, And we actually had a cooking demo from the chef there.
We did.
And I mean, there are pine nuts in this. There's cheese, butter in the sauce.
Yeah, it's a sweet,
Uh,
slightly savory, creamy, just amazingly velvety sauce
and it's
over perfectly cooked pasta.
yeah, and it's vegetarian, but you can add porchetta
Yes.
or duck confit for a fee, an extra fee.
Small upcharge.
Uh-huh. And it doesn't need it. I'm telling you, it doesn't need it because there's that buttery, cheesy, perfectly cooked al dente homemade pasta goodness.
But
But if you want to go next level, you can.
you can.
Okay. That's all I'm saying to you. And that was okay. So that was one we covered in episode 20, and that was video.
And we're going to be linking to the old episodes that
Hmm.
we're talking about in the podcast show notes. So check
Yes.
those out. We'd love for you to go back and check out these video segments from way back in the day when we were primarily video
Yes.
podcast first.
And then some of them are from more recent years where we just broke down the dishes
Yeah.
and talked about it. And you'll see the episode artwork. And because Southern Grounds is, and well, it might be video actually, because we were getting ready to have our 100th episode. That might be video
Maybe so.
because we were doing 98, 99. It might be video or it might be broken down very well. That's what I'll say. That because that's episode 98 is Southern Grounds. Episode 52 is video. That's post Tavern.
But we'll have links to these episodes in the show notes. So you're not going to miss out
So,
on anything.
yeah, that's all I'm saying. It's just delightful, as is this place. And this is a video episode, episode 100 at the Bearded Pig.
And yes, this is some of the best barbecue you're going to find in Jacksonville, bar none.
And this is the brisket. I think the picture just speaks for itself.
But for those that aren't watching the video, you have to picture the most tender, succulent
Thank you,
brisket
Dana.
that will just pull right apart.
I'm having a moment. Oh my God. It's like a whole platter of meat celebrating, just the best of barbecue meat. And Chad Muncie, he put our platter together in this episode and just took us on a perfect tour of a barbecue platter. So good.
It really
I'm
was,
sorry.
and not only their main meats, but also their sides. Their
I
sides
thought that
game
was unique,
was incredibly
right?
strong, and they even offered. It was kind of interesting that a barbecue place that does a ton of meat every day focuses on offering at least sides that
Yeah.
vegetarians could eat.
You can make a really filling meal out of their sides. And I want to say the next slide that I have in there is a picture of the beans.
Well,
Or
that's one
no,
of the
we're getting
rib.
there. We're getting there.
They're insanely large ribs.
There. Yeah. So the beans, there's coleslaw, and that's fantastic. Their pickles are just tangy and delish.
House-made pickles.
Yeah. They're so fresh. You can still see that same green color of the cucumber.
Mhm.
Oh, but really, they won't tell you the recipe, but these beans are money. And they are vegetarian.
They're completely vegetarian. They don't put any meat in the recipe to make the beans. They do a mixture of I think 3 or 4 different kinds of beans to
Yeah.
include pinto beans, red kidney beans, lima beans. They had a tang and an acidity to them that I wasn't expecting.
Apple cider vinegar, right?
Yeah, I think, and it was just such a satisfying juxtaposition. So if you wanted to have something a little tangy to
I'm
kind of
telling you.
cut through some of the richness of the meat, it was
Just do it
perfect.
if you want. Yeah, and they also had greens.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And those were vegetarian as well. Weren't they?
Yes,
I believe they
I
were.
believe they were.
I believe they were.
They wanted he specifically said they wanted to have a lot of side offerings for people who might be vegetarian, but didn't want, you know,
The
maybe have a vegetarian or two in your party. They didn't want the party to not come there
Mhm.
just because it's a barbecue place
Right.
and to have something to offer. And their sides, like making an entire meal out of sides is a very Southern thing to do, but it's very
It's
popular in a lot of
so
places.
great
It really
to
is.
do it. I mean, it's like, when we're at Chef Art Smith's homecoming,
I do.
yeah, the sides can be the meal. And I think it's the same at the Bearded Pig. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I've put the photo up of the next beer that we're going to talk about, but before
Okay.
we go on to the drink portion, normally this is the time of the show where we tell you guys all about our Patreon and we thank those of you who have become patrons. We're not
Mhm.
going to do that tonight.
Tonight, we're gonna talk about the Donna Marathon Weekend
Yes.
and our team that we have created. The Donna Marathon Weekend is one we have often talked about, and
It's the subject of tonight's show, in fact.
it is, and we could probably put this up on the feed as we talk about it if you want.
I can try.
Um, it's one we've often talked about as a bucket list item, and in fact, we went on another podcast called Experiences You Should Have and talked about this, and we didn't even have to think about it. We didn't even have to talk it over when she said, "What's the one race everybody should do that you've already done?" And we both almost simultaneously answered, Gail, who is the host
Mhm.
of Experiences You Should Have, the Donna Marathon Weekend.
We did
The Donna Marathon Weekend.
without
It's
even
incredible.
hesitating.
Yeah. So it's a bucket list runcation, as you have heard in our food options here tonight and on the show in Amanda's very passionate interview and in the stories that we tell as well.
Yes.
Um, you know, months ago amid the pandemic, there were so many unknowns. I think they were smart to go early and they went virtual early.
Yes.
And so we didn't even give it a second thought. We said we're going to register, we create a team, and we want you to be a part of the fun.
We want you to join our team.
Yes. And we registered. Now we can talk about it.
We can.
We we registered for what they call the booby trap challenge, which I think Josh, our patron, would just love.
Yes.
Um,
It's a play on
it's a
words.
play on words because the Donna Foundation supports breast cancer research and supports families and those who are fighting this disease. So you can do any of the virtual events ranging from zero point 0.0 miles.
Which a lot of people are gonna like that option.
Yeah, you can do a 5K, you can do a half marathon, you can do a full marathon, you can do an ultra. You can also do what we're doing, which is the booby trap challenge, which is the 5K and the half, or the booby trap challenge, the version that is the 5K and the full marathon.
Right.
And anywhere between the 6th of February and Valentine's Day, you can download the Active Experience app on your phone and you can submit your results. So if you register, make sure you register at the links in our show notes and on our website before Valentine's Day, because that's when the registration stops. If you can't do it, like I can't do it right now, like I can't run for 8 weeks
Right.
post surgery. So I registered for the booby trap challenge. I'm going to complete those miles before March, the end of March, the last day in March. That's the last time that you can get in there and you can submit your miles and your time. And you will get your medals. You will get the experience inside the app, like we were talking about the walls.
And that's gonna be in that's what you heard in the interview that we
Mhm.
did
The
with.
honor walls.
Yes.
Yes. Um, I just can't recommend supporting this organization enough. So we created a team. We were not as creative as those people who talked about their White Claw team. Like Amanda was talking about the White Claw team. I forget what their name is
Right.
officially now, but our team's name is the Run Eat Drink Podcast team. You can run the distance of your own choosing at your own pace in your own time. Just register before Valentine's Day and register at runeatdrink.net/Donna.
Per-
Runeatdrink.net/Donna. That those are the links that take you straight to the registration pages that are tied to our team.
Yeah, you're gonna see if you're in the live stream right now, you see the website. It's got the slideshow of photos from past Donna Marathon weekends,
Mhm.
and
Booby
you've
trap
got the little
medals.
description and then a couple of buttons. One button is if you have not registered yet, that's to take you straight to brand new registrations. Or
All the distances.
if you've already registered but you aren't on a team,
You can
you can just join our team.
join our team.
So either way, we would love to have you. We want
Yeah.
a huge team to run and raise money for this amazing organization.
Yes. So again, go to runeatdrink.net/Donna and click on one of those buttons and join our team. Support the Donna Foundation.
And we cannot thank you guys enough for supporting. There we go. Okay.
We were just excited to
I,
show
I
you
had
the
I had
page
a
on our show.
technical issue there. Let's see. Let's try this again. So we're going to show everybody the screen, and we're going to share the application window so you can see the beers that we're talking about
Because
here.
now we're going to start the drinking section of our show.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now, I saw Jessica ask. She wants to know what it is we're drinking while we're chatting with you. Well,
Oh,
since
we
we
should know since we're starting the drinking portion of our show.
yes, since we are talking about the Donna Marathon
Oh, you're
Weekend,
holding it up.
we
That's good.
wanted to drink something tonight that was appropriately celebratory and supportive of the cause. And our friends over at Barrel of Monks Brewing, which is in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, make a product here called Witty in Pink.
Yes. And we actually found it this year over at Total Wine.
Yes.
They had some bottles. Typically, Barrel of Monks brews this in October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And their beer is distributed at Total Wine, at ABC, and we just found it at Total Wine, and we just wanted to make sure it was very appropriate for this show and for we may have some stowed away that will actually be post mileage celebration when I actually do the miles.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's what we're drinking.
That is what we're drinking. Now, this is a Belgian wit beer. This comes in at, I want to say, 5%
Yes.
ABV.
Yeah.
Super light, very refreshing, very raspberry, which is great. And Susie Beck just jumped in
Welcome,
the
Susie.
chat. Hey, Susie. So let's see here. We have,
It's
okay,
got it's their Belgian it is their um Belgian wit
Belgian wit with
with
raspberries.
raspberries. So
Yes, actual raspberries,
so
not like a raspberry syrup.
yeah, so it has a pink tint to it when you put it in a glass.
And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, this that we're going to be showing you here is one of the beers from one of our favorite breweries in Jacksonville that we managed to feature on the show as a video. And this is Intuition Ale Works, and this
Yeah.
particular beer is really really interesting. This is a beer inspired by, of all things, Dungeons and Dragons.
How appropriate.
Yeah, because I'm a big D&D nerd, and my wife puts up with all sorts of geekery from me. Intuition Ale Works does this barrel aged um, imperial stout. This thing is
Yeah.
powerful. It tops
We
10%
yes.
ABV. I want to say it was
And people line up for this when it launches in February,
this is
right before the Donna Marathon Weekend.
a super seasonal release, and they do this enormous release party where in the brewery they are actually having people come in and play Dungeons and
And that
Dragons in the
brewery is
brewery.
huge, and it has a rooftop bar, and you can see the Jacksonville Jaguars stadium from it.
Yes.
So
It's diagonally across the street from the stadium.
there's plenty of space.
But that was just one of several amazing breweries that we discovered in the Jacksonville area. We
Ah,
also found this little spot called
they
Wicked Barley Brewing.
yes, it's actually right around the corner from the hotel where we stay all the time
Yes.
when we go up to the Donna. We stayed in Embassy Suites on Bay Meadows Road. And this
Right down
place
the
is
street.
like, a hop, skip, and a jump, 5 minutes away. Very short Uber ride. So lucky. They are actually on the water, so they can have people come up by boat.
Yes, and they actually have
Also,
their dock leads right up to the back of the brewery,
yeah,
or the yeah, one side of the brewery, and
it's beautiful at
go right in.
night.
Yeah.
Beautiful at night.
They've got an amazing space.
Mhm.
And what I think is so fantastic about them is that do they're a brewery that really focuses on their food game.
Yeah, they have a professional chef in their kitchen, professionally trained, formally trained, and their their pretzel and their beer cheese and their mustard, they're made with this is kind of like jumping back to the food portion, but so we talk about Wicked Barley Brewing in episode 51, and we actually had them sit down the leadership in the brewery
Sit down and walk you through a
and
flight, right?
walk us through a flight. A general manager and someone that I just had messaged back and forth through social media, luckily,
Yeah.
was able to arrange the whole thing. And I can tell you their mead game is super strong. I really enjoyed that blueberry blossom mead.
Yes.
Hmm.
You would think that that's going to be really, really strong on the blueberry. It's not. It's just a whisper of blueberry,
Yeah,
but it, the fact that they're doing a mead from blueberry blossoms. I mean, come on. How crazy is that?
delightful. Mm.
But
Uh,
wait,
yeah.
there is
I
more.
mean, we
And
had a whole flight, and that's really great. But then also, I wanted to throw in a non-alcoholic one
yes,
that we had um, when we visited Southern Swells. Right next door is Mini Bar Donuts and Coffee.
and this place is doing one of my favorite coffee drinks that we've ever done on the show.
It's a cereal milk latte.
They do cereal milk lattes. So you go in, it's like, oh, I want a latte, but I want it with like fruity pebbles
Was this the
milk.
fruity pebbles, or was this Cocoa Puffs that
Well,
we did?
I did Cocoa Puffs.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
But they had, I think, Fruity Pebbles, maybe like a Captain Crunch. So they basically
that's
soak the
dynamite.
recipe, or they soak them, the cereal in the milk, and then they strain it. And then
Mhm.
that's what they're making these coffee drinks out of.
Yeah.
I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah. So that's all I'm saying is. And speaking of Southern Swells,
I did maybe mention them a little bit earlier because I had them on the brain.
yes,
Um,
because there's Southern Grounds Coffee, which is so
Southern,
great by the beach, and then Southern Swells Brewing up there that we credit along with Greg at Nice Guys Pizza here locally for schooling us in the ways of IPAs.
yes, we got an excellent lesson from our friends here at Southern Swells on the differences that hops make in IPAs, and actually really opened our palates
Mhm.
to exploring some new options where we would normally turn our attention elsewhere when we saw IPAs on the menu.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Back to Intuition
Oh
Aleworks.
yeah, I just wanted to throw in like this is the this not, it wasn't just the Dungeons and Dragons homage, but
No, they had
this
plenty of
is
beers, plenty
yeah.
of beer offerings.
So this is kind of out of order, sorry.
That's okay. And then last but not least, we're going to close out the drink portion here with a cocktail.
The Dusty Boot from the Black Sheep. It's a bourbon beverage. Um, you know, like what can I say about the Dusty Boot except
You want one?
yeah. Here. Old Forester bourbon, simple syrup, lime, lemon, Jerry Thomas bitter, smoked sea salt, and a cracked black pepper rim,
A cracked black pepper rim.
which you can tell
I
in the
mean, come on.
picture. So, but anyway, it's delightful. It's amazing. If you're a bourbon drinker, try it.
Cannot recommend it enough. So, the point of all of this was to give you guys a bit of a walk down memory lane for us,
Mhm.
some things that we experienced when we were at the Donna over the last 3 years,
Yes.
things that we are going to miss this year,
Hmm.
and things that we are looking forward to, in addition to exploring new stuff
Oh, yeah.
next year
Hmm.
when we go for the in person.
Taco Lou, did she
We were
say?
told Taco Lou
And the
and
lemon
back
bar.
to the Lemon Bar.
Mhm.
We realized that we'd actually been to the Lemon Bar
It's like,
after
was that
thinking back on it.
place by the beach after was it? It was. So yes, we've been there, but we may have been too exhausted
Well, that
after
and
the race.
we were also seated. It was very busy, and we got seated right next to the DJ booth, right next to the speaker.
It was super
And
loud
my
because
tinnitus was not having that.
we were late to the party. So it's always a challenge at a popular place to find seating.
Yes,
So, you know, there it is. Susie Beck is in for 2022.
I can't wait. We are super excited.
I think we have a few people that are maybe planning in the future should the races return in 2022 for a Runcation Nation
Meetup.
meetup.
I think that's got to happen.
Mm,
But in the meantime,
yes.
we talked about joining our team.
Hmm.
Please head over to the website, runnydrink.net/Donna.
Donna.
Check that out. Pick your distance,
Hmm.
whether it's zero point 0.0 miles or 150,
110.
110 miles
Yeah.
or something in between. Pick your distance. You've
Or
got
zero.
all that time to run those miles. You're supporting an amazing organization. You're supporting these families who, in some cases, like she talks about in the interview, are having to choose between their cancer treatment or rent for the month or go into the grocery store.
And they
And
shouldn't have to do that.
the Donna Foundation has secured over $3.5 million in funding for these families to help them out.
And
And
the need is even greater
this year,
after 2020
so
and heading into this year.
we hope you'll consider joining our team and helping us support the
Yeah.
Donna Foundation. We are excited to do it. Next year, we're going to be even more excited to do it back in the Jacksonville Beaches area with
Yes.
you guys.
Oh, yes. Here's hoping. Fingers crossed. We will be toasting, completing a marathon
Or half,
or half or an ultra or
not an ultra.
I mean,
I can unequivocally say I am not
we
running
might
an
have
ultra.
ultra runners on our team. I don't know.
We might have an ultra run, and we will support you, ultra runners.
Uh-huh.
We'll be out there. We'll be your cheer squad.
Hmm. We'll be cheering you on from the deck at Post Tavern
There you
or the
go.
Lemon Bar or somewhere like that.
And
Yeah.
we'll toast you when you cross the finish line.
Yes. Yes.
But you know what that means.
Oh.
I know. We are going to be wrapping this episode up for this week.
Yes.
Check out this episode in the download on your favorite podcatcher. You're going to be able to hear the interview we were talking about. We'll have the
So
full
great.
audio there.
Oh.
It is just a fantastic interview to hear about this amazing organization.
It will inspire and motivate you to want to do this weekend.
So check that out. And yeah, next week, what do we got planned? What's coming up? I think we got something special coming, don't we?
We have another interview, and I know that I teased and that we recorded a very special interview last week.
Mhm.
We are still in the middle of processing and editing that because that man gave us so much of his time.
And you have said who it is.
Bart, yeah, so
the mayor of running.
was amazing.
And we're going to be sharing that with you guys next week.
Yes, but I needed a little bit more time. And we also needed to ramp up our team
Yes.
for the Donna, because I mean, registration ends on the 14th. So
Yeah, it's time to get out there.
we got to
and
get it
get
done.
on the team, get going. We are
Yes.
super excited.
Yeah. So Bart's, I believe, will be coming in February after we get everything together. And next week, we will get back to tools that you can use that support you in your running journey and your healthy eating, like we have been doing since the beginning of 2021.
Yes.
Yes. So stay tuned for that.
Indeed. So for now, you're reading
Sorry.
a comment.
I'm so sorry.
Amy's like, Jennifer's in the
Jennifer's
Ultra
in the
Marathon
chat.
Slow Club.
Stacey, yes. Anyway, I was just getting excited by people in the chat, and really thank you for tuning in on the live while we recorded the show. We can't thank you all enough for your support. And we can't thank you enough for joining us on your long run, your commute to work, around the house, wherever you listen to us. We are super thankful.
We are.
I'm your host, Amy.
And I'm your co-host, Dana.
Stay safe. Stay well.
Bless me. Sneezed.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless Dana. Gesundheit. Stay safe, stay well, and we will accomplish, explore, and indulge with you really soon.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We're having another great year thanks to your support. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We're at Run, Eat, Drink Podcast. And on Twitter, we're Run, Eat, Drink Pod. You can also give us a call at 941-677-2733 or send us an email at info@runeatdrink.net. Visit our website at runeatdrink.net and click on the subscribe link so you don't miss a minute. Find out how you can support the show at patreon.com/runeatdrinkpodcast. Accomplish, explore, and indulge right along with us. We'll talk to you next time.